Yesterday in St. Louis, the Braves wrapped up a weekend sweep of the Cardinals. The Braves completed a 7-win road trip that took them into first place in the National League East. Tonight, they return home for the first of two against slugger Joey Votto and the Cincinnati Reds. It's a perfect night for baseball at Turner Field in Atlanta, where the Braves return home in first place in the National League East. Tonight they play host to the second place Cincinnati Reds in Game 1 of a 2-game series. All year long, Atlanta Braves baseball on Sports South is being presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors, The Right Stuff, and The Low Price. Great to be back home, friends. Joe Simpson, Tom Glavine, Chip Carey with you. The Braves, a 7-2 road trip. And tonight, fellas, they play their third straight opponent from the National League Central, the Cincinnati Reds.
Cincinnati Reds are a pretty good ball club, and they've played the Braves pretty tough here over the last several years, going 7-7 here at Turner Field. This season, they're right around 500. They've won 13 of their last 21. They're kind of middle of the road offensively, but their pitching has been very good, especially their bullpen. They've been doing a great job, and they got a couple of guys in the middle of their order that are tearing it up, especially Joey Votto, who had a big day yesterday.
Yeah, he sure did. He's been hitting for average all year long. That hasn't been a problem, but he's had a little bit of a power outage to start the season. Only 2 home runs going into this weekend. Made a little adjustment with his hands to try and get some of that power back, and I'd say it paid dividends. 3 home runs yesterday, including a walk-off grand slam. So we'll have to keep an eye on that adjustment these 2 games here in Atlanta.
Braves have plenty of power, too. There's only one team in Major League Baseball that scored more runs than the Atlanta Braves, and that's Josh Hamilton's Texas Rangers. So Cincinnati pitchers, beware. The Braves are red hot. And speaking of our pitchers, we'll take a quick break and come back and preview tonight's Game 1 pitching matchup from Turner Field right after this. Game homestand, the first two with the Cincinnati Reds. Here at Turner Field, Joe Tomachip back at the ballpark. Randall Delgado and Homer Bailey square off in Game 1 tonight. Two good starts in a row for Randall.
Yeah, he's pitched real well of late. His last two starts, very good. His 2 starts ago against Philadelphia, arguably his best start of his career, going 8 innings, giving up 2 earned runs and 5 strikeouts, was a tough luck loser in that one. Follow that up with another solid start in Chicago during the road trip. So he's definitely found his game and certainly has things on track.
For Homer Bailey, rough times for him in his last 2 starts, including his last start against Milwaukee, where he didn't get out of the 4th inning. He gave up 6 runs, and he's appropriately named lately because he's allowed 6 home runs on the year. Homer Bailey.
Let's hope that continues for the Atlanta offense. The second highest scoring offense in all of Major League Baseball belongs to the first place Atlanta Braves. Starting lineups and our first pitch. The Reds and Braves kick it off right after this. Earlier this afternoon, but the skies are clearing at the ballpark. It's a lovely night for Game 1 of this series between the Braves and the Cincinnati Reds. And boy, it's great to be back home after an outstanding road trip that has the Braves a half game in front in the National League Eastern Division race. They face a formidable foe from Cincinnati tonight. And young Zach Cozart's the real deal. He's a terrific fielding shortstop. He's the Reds' leadoff man. Tommy talked about the great work of Joey Votto, Brandon Phillips, and Jay Bruce, also very powerful hitters. And Todd Frazier and Devin Mesoraco, 2 youngsters drafted in 2007 as well by the Reds, a big part of the Cincinnati future.
And they'll be facing Braves right-hander Randall Delgado. He's 2-3 on the year with a 4.54 ERA. You see there kind of his splits. First 2 starts, got a couple wins, gave up some runs. Guys were hitting him a little bit. Middle 2 starts, everything kind of fell apart there for him. A lot of runs, a lot of hits against. But the last 2 starts, as we talked about, he's really kind of made that turn. He's pitched real well, although he's 0-1 in those last 2 starts. Probably his best 2 back-to-back starts of the year.
And for Randall, 22 years old, 6'3", 200-pounder, his 4 keys to pitching success tonight. Good work, no results. As Tom just said, 2 real good outings his last 2 times out and only a loss to show for it. If he just keeps pitching like that, he should be just fine tonight. And Bruce Votto, that's not 1 guy, that's 2. So be careful in the middle of their lineup with those 2 guys. The rest of their lineup is just kind of doing some middling things right now, not really tearing it up. And until yesterday when they scored 9 runs to beat the Nationals, They'd only scored 9 runs in their previous 4 games, so they're not exactly lighting it up.
Here's the Atlanta defensive lineup for game 1 of the series. Rado, Bourne, and Hayward from left to right in the outfield. Chippers back in at third base. Freddie Freeman across the diamond with Dan Uggla, Tyler Pasternicki, and Brian McCann working the middle for Randall Delgado. Here's your umpiring crew for game 1. Sam Holbrook will call balls and strikes. Andy Fletcher's the ump at first. Rob Drake at second. And Cowboy Joe West is over at third. Reds 2.5 games behind St. Louis in the National League Central, and 8-8 so far on the road. They'll start things off with Zach Cozart, the shortstop. .79 degrees at first pitch, as you see Dusty Baker looking on from the Reds dugout.
It's in his 5th year of running this ball club.
Seems hard to believe.
Seems
like it's been that long.
Upstairs to the pride of the University of Mississippi, Zach Cozart, one of 3 2007 picks in the starting lineup tonight for Cincinnati.
Yeah, that Ole Miss program's putting out some good ball players too. Reds are really high on this guy.
And a roller foul evens the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Pop fly out of play to the right. And Cozart another 2-2 pitch.
This is one of the things that Brian McCann was talking about in the pregame show is in his last couple of games, Delgado's done a nice job of getting ahead of the hitters and a much better job of putting guys away once he has 2 strikes. So we'll see if that trend continues, and if it does, you know, whether or not it translates into him being able to have that same success.
Popped up. This one might be playable. Freddie over near the tarp, takes a look, and is just a couple of rows away from making a play. Still 2-2.
Everything's just kind of middle of the road for the Reds right now. They're 8-8 on the road. They're 8-7 at home. Middle of the pack, as I showed you, or the graphic showed you, and we talked about with their offense. Thing that's keeping them in ball games is their pitching.
Good pitch takes care of Cozart. And Randall Delgado has his first strikeout.
A little bit of a changeup right there, and tried to go away, but it leaked over the plate. But the change of speeds was enough to fool Cozart, and it's the first out of the inning.
And brings up Drew Stubbs, the Reds center fielder. This guy can really go get him, but he doesn't make a lot of contact. At least he hasn't lately. Stubbs 3 for his last 22 with 7 strikeouts.
Good fastball hitter, so they start him with a changeup, and they had to move him out of the leadoff spot despite his good speed because he's not making enough contact. 37 strikeouts already on the year. By comparison, Dan Uggla, the most on the Braves team, with 40.
And last year, Joe, here's an amazing number. Stubbs had 604 at bats in the big league, struck out an astounding 205 times.
He'd be okay with that if he hit 45 home runs.
Well, he was 30 shy of that. He hit 15.
Well, he's supposed to be the guy who gets on base and steals bases because he really can run. But like we were talking about in Chicago with the guy Campana. Now, they're not the same player, obviously, but the story applies. As he strikes out again, that Campana knows his strengths and weaknesses, and he knows what he's supposed to do and how he's supposed to help the team. Drew Stubbs so far in his career still thinks he's and fancies himself a home run hitter, and he won't cut down on his swing.
So 2 quick outs for Delgado. That brings up Joey Votto. .319 average, 5 homers, 24 driven in. And rare indeed in this day and age of baseball do you find a slugger with more walks than strikeouts anymore. Votto's one of those guys.
SunTrust solid performer. I'll tell you what, first in all those categories, second only to David Wright in on base percentage.
To his credit, all that coming off on the heels of that huge contract extension that he signed to stay, which a lot of times can put an awful lot of pressure on a player to try and perform up to that.
On April 4th, the Reds signed Joey Votto to a 10-year contract extension that will take him through the end of the 2023 season.
Oh, and don't forget there's an option for 2024. That cracked me up.
And he wasn't sure that was out of the strike zone, and Votto on cue takes a 2-out walk.
32nd walk of the year.
So Brandon Phillips bats. He's been a very hot hitter. 6 hits in his last 12 at bats. 2 homers, 11 RBIs for the year.
He had a hamstring problem that slowed him down in April, so he's just rounding into form.
Popped up on the first pitch, and Freddie Freeman in foul ground is there to make the play, and Delgado works a scoreless top half of the first. Braves offense is in high gear. Let's see if they can wail away against Homer Bailey when we come back. Outs. Now Homer Bailey toes the slab, and he'll face the 22-13 Braves in Game 1 tonight. Michael Bourne had an unbelievably productive road trip. He's the Braves' leadoff man. Hopefully some home cooking will get Brian McCann's bat hot. Chipper Jones is in there at third base. Jason Hayward with a couple of big hits in that Cardinals series holds forth. He's the Atlanta right fielder tonight.
They'll be facing Homer Bailey. You see his first 4 starts, 1-2 with a 3.6 ERA. Last 2 starts, not quite as good. 0-1 with an 8.3 ERA. This is his 7th start of the season and first career appearance here at Turner Field.
And he's been giving up some long balls, which leads us to his 4 pitching keys to success. He needs to change his name from Homer, and he needs to finish hitters. He's been getting ahead. He throws a lot of first pitch strikes, but he's having trouble finishing them off, like you were talking about with Delgado. Good fastball, slider, and a split finger pitch. And I'm told he's very stubborn. Hard to get him to work on things that people see that he needs to work on. He'll shake off this catcher tonight a lot, probably. Mesoraco, the rookie.
Stubbornness can be a good thing sometimes, but if you're reluctant to make adjustments that people are suggesting based on the things you're not doing out there, then certainly can get in the way.
Bounced foul to first. Terry Pendleton, the Braves' first base coach, handles cleanly, and count 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, he's got a couple of real odd stats. First of all, he's #1 in the major leagues at first pitches swung at, 37+%. But also, the opponents are hitting .368 on the first pitch, so I guess that's good and bad.
Michael drives one toward left. Heisey drifts back, and Chris is there and makes the play for the first out. Chris Heisey's the left fielder. Here's the rest of the Reds' defensive alignment. Bruce Stubbs in center. Jay Bruce is in right. Frazier and Cozart, Young left side of the infield. Veterans Phillips and Votto on the right side, and Devin Mesoraco, big powerfully built catcher, works with Bailey tonight. Just off the plate to Martin Prado, who has a 5-game hitting streak working.
First pitch stat, Joe, goes back to kind of what we've talked about when Halladay pitched here. It's okay to throw a first pitch strike, but it's got to be a quality pitch, not one you're just throwing down the middle for the sake of throwing.
Yeah, and I think that's been his problem in recent days. He's getting it over, but you see the averages on counts. How about a .313 average on 0-2 counts? Making way too many good pitches there.
That's either he's missing with his location on both the first strike or the 0-2 pitch, or he just hasn't quite figured out whatever his out pitches are, how to get them to finish a little bit more out of the zone and get hitters to chase him.
Brian Price is his pitching coach.
Well struck toward right, but playable for Jay Bruce. And 2 are out. Well, it's not Homer Bailey's first rodeo. This is his 85th start. Make that his 86th start, I beg your pardon. Lifetime 26 wins, 26 losses, and ERA approaching 5. And the Reds and Dusty Baker certainly hoping that the light will click for Homer Bailey. Their starting pitching really let him down last year. First pitch, Freeman drives it into center. And all 3 Reds outfielders make a play in the bottom of a scoreless first inning. by the Home Depot, by Checkers, and by AT&T. Wouldn't that be nice if he could? No score as we head to the second inning at Turner Field. And Jay Bruce will go to work against Randall Delgado to start the Reds' second. All the talk about Joey Votto. Don't overlook this guy. Jay Bruce has hit 10 homers already this year.
We remember when he broke in and how he was tearing it up. Nobody knew how to pitch him, and he was wearing out pitchers up and down the National League.
That was the 2008 season when they called him Bruce Almighty. 21 homer year in just 413 at bats for the Reds that season. In that 2008 season, Bruce finished 5th in the Rookie of the Year voting. Giovanni Soto of the Cubs won it. Joey Votto was second. Jair Jurgens, the Braves, finished 3rd.
Yes, he did. He's always hit the Braves well, but most of that damage was at Great American Ballpark. 14 games there, 5 homers, 10 RBIs, but just a 143 average here in 5 games.
Just off the plate, full count. Well hit to right. Jason Hayward won't get it. That'll bounce off the fence. And Jay Bruce on his way to second with his 10th double. And that's how the second inning starts for Cincinnati.
A similar pitch to the pitch before. That one just missed off the plate. Tried to bring that one over a little bit to try and get the strike call, but caught too much of the plate, and a hot hitter, Jay Bruce, ratchets up another double.
Yeah, the team is first in the league in doubles. From an offensive standpoint, that's one thing they're doing real well.
Here's Chris Heisey, the left fielder. No homers, 5 RBIs for Heisey. He's really struggling. 1 hit in his last 11 tries and a whopping 6 strikeouts. Popped up. Freeman gives a look. At the railing, no play. Strike 1. A bunt, and it's a good one. Delgado's got to hurry, and he gets his man.
Well, that's one way to get him over, especially if you're struggling to swing the bat. No confidence in going the other way. Good bunt by Heisey. Gets the job done and almost got a base hit.
His second sacrifice puts Bruce at third for Todd Frazier. Frazier trying to fill the shoes of Scott Rowland. Comes out with a bad shoulder, and some in Cincinnati fellows wonder if this is the last roundup for Scott Rowland.
He's had that thing fixed a couple of times, and you just wonder if it's unfixable now.
2 quick strikes. Didn't get the corner.
Well, he's just missing, isn't he?
No swing.
We'll see here if he wants to go back to that fastball away, try to hit that spot again, or finish him off with that good changeup.
Got the outside corner call. 2 outs.
Tom, did you find at times when if you hit a spot consistently, you may not get the call first time or two, but if you keep hitting that spot or going to, eventually the umpire gives you the credit for being consistent there?
Well, I mean, that's kind of how it was back in those days when you didn't have Questek, is you tried to establish with the umpire, number one, that you could throw the ball where you wanted to, and then you played a little bit of a game to see how far you could get him to go. And that was part of it. I mean, look, the catcher sets up 3 or 4 inches off the plate, and you keep hitting his mitt and his glove's not moving. Eventually, you got 35,000 people in the stands screaming, and umpires don't want to hear that. So,
Devin Mesoraco's the catcher. He was the Reds' #1 pick in 07.
And to, excuse me, Chip, to Brian and Randall's credit, they just missed on the pitch before, went back inside. Not only does that change the hitter's look, but it changed the umpire's look too. So now when you go back out there, that pitch might look a little bit better to him than it did if you'd have doubled up out there.
Liner over third. That'll reach the seats.
First pitch strikes to 7 of the first 8 for Delgado.
Now he's way ahead of the Reds catcher. Bruce at third with 2 outs. Strike 3, a changeup, and it was a beauty. 77 miles an hour. And Delgado pitches out of a big second inning mess.
Now to Twitter, and specifically an Aussie. Peter Moylan tweets, "One more week of long toss, then it's bullpen time." You can tell he's excited, fellas, because that is 6 exclamation points. I hope I remember what to do. Don't forget, you can follow us at twitter.com/SportsSouth. And everyone's excited about the possibility of Peter Moylan returning soon. Chip?
All right, Tom, thank you very much. Great to have you alongside tonight.
We miss Peter. I hope that work all continues on the right path, and his bullpen work is where it should be, so we can see him back here in Atlanta real soon.
How about Randall Delgado? Gives up a leadoff double, strands a Reds runner at third base. And we are still scoreless with Dan Uggla working in the Braves second now. Our Delta Airlines on deck batter is Brian McCann, and the Reds might be just what his bat needs to see.
Those are some incredible numbers in 38 games.
Bailey got 3 flyouts in the first inning and is now ahead of Dan Uggla. No balls, 2 strikes.
Boy, he was very lucky there. He only missed his target by about 2 feet.
Think it was that close?
Maybe. Yeah, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. They wanted a high fastball to see if Dan would chase, and that was at about the knees.
Dan is out on strikes. First punch out for Bailey tonight. Base is empty for Brian McCann, hitting .236 with 5 homers. Brian had 6 hits on the road trip. Had a 2-hit, 2 RBI game against the Cardinals on May 12th. It was in Brandon Beachy's game in that the Braves beat St. Louis 7-2.
Braves offense on the road trip was, as you have said, Chip, just outstanding. 9-game trip. They had 97 hits, almost 10 a game, 56 runs, 8 runs a game, and hit .286 with 11 homers. That's pretty good stuff. That's giving pitchers room to breathe.
Yeah, you know, and even with Colorado, you know, they still went into St. Louis and put up a bunch of runs there too. So they're swinging it.
From 3-0 to 3-2 now.
Talked to Greg Walker some today about what he's working on with Brian McCann, and he said he feels like one of the things that Brian is doing, he's a little bit late getting his front foot down, and they're working on that some, and that Brian's been trying to work on hitting the ball to left center again, like he did a lot when he first came up.
Yeah, I know. I talked to him before the game, and that was something he told me as well. He said he was getting a little tired of everybody putting a shift on him and being known as that kind of hitter. He wanted to get back to more of a guy that was like he did earlier in his career, where he's gap to gap, and teams couldn't employ that shift on him.
Well, there's a shift, but it's not as drastic as we saw on the trip.
Just missed outside with a breaking ball, and McCann, the first Braves base runner. Bailey wanted that call. Save up to 40% off your next visit to Turner Field with the Chevron Family Value Plan. Packages start at $69. You get 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 sodas, a parking pass game program, and a $10 Chevron gift card. Visit Braves.com/tickets or call 800-745-3000. What a trip for Chipper. 11 for 32 with a homer.
.93 on that one, so Bailey's fastball, when he decides to throw a 4-seamer, it's not a bad one at all.
He's got pretty good stuff, just a little bit too in the zone early and not expanding the zone late. Oh.
Three balls and a strike. High fly to center. And Stubbs has it for the second out.
Just missed it, and a little bit of breeze blowing in from left field too might have held that one up some.
That'll bring up Jason Hayward. .252 is his average with 5 homers, 18 driven in. Jason drove in 3 runs yesterday in St. Louis with a bases clearing double. And had that big 12th inning home run in Game 1 in St. Louis.
I was watching that game yesterday at home, and that at bat, that was as good a battle as you're going to see all year long.
McCann takes off, and Hayward rips one into right field. Bailey never even looked at the Braves catcher. And then Jason rips a shot into right field for the Braves' first hit, and they're at the corners with 2 outs.
He took off. Bailey was still in the stretch. And then he wasn't sure where the ball was hit, so he had to stop at second and kind of look to Brian Snitker like, now what do I do?
He's going to be yelling at Jason, although, great that he got a base hitter. He's thinking, dude, I got to stand up stolen base.
To Joe West. Good to see Joe smile.
Look at what Tyler Pastornicki has done with runners in scoring position. That's our Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot.
500 with 2 out and runners in scoring position.
He's going to make people start pitching him around him or putting him on base if he keeps doing that.
That 500 average is not 1 for 2 either. It's 5 for 10. Bailey got the strike there, but that doesn't happen very often when the catcher raises up out of his crouch on a breaking ball like that and then has to come back down to catch it.
It almost looked like he got crossed up.
Yeah. I wouldn't expect Jason to be running here anyway. Don't want to leave first base open if he was successful running, and then just have him walk past Nicky to get to Delgado.
Slow roller toward Frazier at third. He's got it. Bad throw, but what a scoop by Votto to save a second inning run. Atlanta threatens, doesn't score in inning number 2. Delgado, 4 strikeouts in the game's first 2 innings. Good start to the series. And here's our Chevron pitching matchup.
Johnny Cueto's been on fire, undefeated, 1.12 ERA. He's pitched well against the Braves in his career too, and Tim Hudson had some tough luck on the road trip, especially in Chicago.
Yeah, he pitched a dandy in Chicago.
I mean, you think about what the Braves, we just showed you what they did offensively on the road trip, averaging 8 runs a game and almost 10 hits a game. And then you start thinking about how hard it was for them to score runs. And granted, they were having a little trouble getting hits with runners in scoring position in Chicago, just those 3 games. But give the Cubs pitchers some credit. Kind of gives you a hint of how good they were.
Bailey, a comebacker on the first pitch. And 1 out. The other part of that Cubs series too, Joe, was how well the Cubs defended with all those shifts.
Yeah, the Braves had a lot of shots hit right at people with runners in scoring position. It seemed like they were always right into the shift.
Here's Cozart. Randall struck him out on a changeup to start the game. Here's Cincinnati Reds shortstop. That's saying something. Think about the guys that have played that position. Lady Concepcion, quite obviously. And Barry Larkin, who's going into the Hall of Fame this year. Fun to face him, Tommy?
You know, it's fun from the standpoint of you were always going to get a battle. You know, sometimes it wasn't so fun if he was swinging the bat well, but good player, good guy, played the game hard, played it right. Be a good representative for the Reds organization.
A little outside to Cozart. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And that's down the right field line, but foul. And we'll do it again. Reds might be a little weary today. They played yesterday and had a very long day. They played a 3-hour and 45-minute game against Washington. That's only half the story. They had a 3-hour and 36-minute rain delay before the game even began.
Dusty Baker told me that he was really surprised they were able to get the game in, but they put a new drainage system into Great American Ballpark, and it really paid off yesterday.
And the Braves glad they played. Washington lost. And with the Braves win in St. Louis, that put Atlanta in first place. And line drive off Cozart's bat into center. Base is empty. 2 out. Trivia time. Our AT&T Uverse trivia question.
What other manager wears a lot of sweatbands? No.
Close. Who is the last Red to lead the National League in runs batted in for a season? Think about that one for a minute. Here's Stubbs.
Stymied.
Another comebacker. Delgado breezing along. A 1-2-3 third inning. He'll bat first in the bottom half. Scoreless game. And fresh off his 10-pitch top of the third, Randall Delgado will take matters into his own hands in the bottom half.
You're a professional in every way.
You know, I'm just the guy, Joe, that reads the cards. Delgado to start it off, then Bourne, then Prado. Randall's got a couple of hits this year. And a strike from Homer Bailey. That's a fair ball down the first base line. Delgado's going to try for 2. The throw to second will easily beat him.
I guess this is what you do, Tom, when you haven't had many runs scored for you lately.
Yeah, I guess that would be about the only way to explain it. I was sitting here watching the ball boy down there down the line thinking, okay, he doesn't see it. He's not going to move. And now I'm wishing he didn't move, and I wish he would have hit him. Would have been a double.
So the second Atlanta hit, but Randall erased at second. Now Michael Bourne bats and looks at a called strike.
I thought maybe the ball boy was trying to deke Jay Bruce into thinking that it wasn't going to come anywhere near him.
Not a bad idea with 2 outs, but I'm not so sure I would have tried to get that double leading off the inning with these 2 guys coming up behind you.
Laugh in the dugout. I know that when we had Medlin mic'd in Chicago and Delgado got a hit, Medlin was immediately yelling 3-3, and everybody else in the bullpen was going, no, stop. So maybe he took it to heart.
Way inside. Michael jackknifes out of the way. 3 balls and a strike. Grounded to first, but foul. Now 3-2. Michael Bourne hitting .387 since April 18th. Has 8 hits in his last 18 at bats. Even guys, when he doesn't get a hit, works the count, forces the pitcher to throw a lot of pitches.
I know he's got it going on because he's really close to surpassing Jay Hay as my son Mason's favorite player. So,
wow,
he's got it going on.
That's saying something.
Yes, it is. You know, those Glavine boys, they don't take to players too lightly, so you better be doing something.
In the air to left. Heisey drifts back. Michael's flying out to left in 2 trips. Georgia Power customers can get a free in-home energy audit performed by an energy expert from Georgia Power. Learn ways to save money and energy around your home. To schedule an in-home energy audit, go to georgiapower.com. Base is clear for Martin. That's chopped toward third. It is a foul ball. Served into left. And Prado aboard with a 2-strike hit.
Well, again, the league hitting .313 against him on 0-2 counts coming into the game tonight. Like he hung a curveball there. Breaking ball of some kind.
Give Prado a 6-game streak now, and Freddie Freeman the batter. He flied to straightaway center. That ended the Braves' first.
Homer Bailey beat the Braves last year in Cincinnati, but he got a ton of runs to work with. He won the game 11-2.
Sharply hit to the second base side. Brandon Phillips with a sliding stop. He makes a good play, and the Braves out of luck in inning number 3. Top of the 8 o'clock hour. It's also the top of a scoreless 4th inning. Twitter time. Delgado rounded first, and the crowd moaned like a Josh Smith 3-point attempt.
That's pretty good, Matt. Slice one right over the bag down the first base line, and then listen to the moan.
Well, he was running hard the whole way, so I mean, it wasn't like if he'd have not gotten out of the box thinking double. I'm thinking maybe he was thinking the same thing I was, that the ball boy was going to catch it and everything was going to be good anyway. Just trying to make something happen. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's always the athletes that are taking charge out there.
Here we go.
How many days did we go? 9 days? 10 days, didn't we?
Yeah.
10 days.
Felt pretty good about it, too, didn't
we?
Here's Joey Votto. After striking out the first 2 Reds, Votto walked. And now takes a strike. Taking nothing away from Votto's remarkable talent. Do you think these Reds hitters at some point at the end of their careers will be helped or hurt by the reputation of the ballpark in which they play in Cincinnati? Fly ball to center. And Michaels got that. Votto's out for the first time.
I'm saying it's a non-issue.
I do too. I think Coors Field's reputation precedes the reputation of all their players, but I don't think that's the case with Great American Ballpark, even though, like Citizens Bank Park in Cincinnati has got a short porch in left field. I don't think it's talked about that much like it is in Coors Field.
Here's Phillips. After Votto walked, Phillips popped up the first pitch he saw tonight. Freddie Freeman put the squeeze on that, and that ended the Cincinnati first. Less than a week after Votto got his big contract, Phillips got one too, a 6-year extension on April 10th. That'll carry him through the 2017 season.
That has sent a good message to Reds fans. That was the big concern after Votto signed was, well, there goes Phillips. There's no way they're going to be able to keep both of them, but to their credit they did, and certainly two guys offensively they're trying to build around.
Brandon's a 2-time National League All-Star. Won his first Silver Slugger Award. And for the 3rd time in the last 4 years, he won the Rawlings Gold Glove for National League second baseman.
And out of Redan High School.
Might have broken his bat. Freeman flips to first.
That was sawing him off.
And 2 outs. Fans, there are a limited number of VIP packages being auctioned for the Scotty McCreery concert Saturday, May 26th. VIP packages include 4 suite tickets, 4 concert field passes, 4 meet and greet passes, and a whole lot more. Bid on these VIP packages at braves.com/concerts today.
Hey, you know what? There's some empty seats here tonight, and they've got the dynamic pricing for these 4 games here for this homestand. Best prices of the year. You get a better price on any seat in the house in these 4 games, and you ought to take advantage, especially the way the team's playing right now with Cueto and Hudson going at it tomorrow. Great matchup. Then the Marlins.
Those outfield tickets are between $14 and $17. There's the website and the phone number to call. And Joe's right. Great matchup here tomorrow. Hudson and Cueto. Cueto's unbeaten at 4-0 for Cincinnati. And Tim, as we mentioned, coming off that great start against the Cubs.
Marlins are coming in a hot team on the heels of Cincinnati, so it's albeit a short homestand, but a good one.
Missed inside, 3 balls and a strike.
I love what they're doing though. Delgado and McCann with his fastball just in and out, working in the changeup. Dropped a nice curve ball on Mesoraco to strike him out in the 2nd. But it's back and forth with that fastball that I'm liking.
Line drive into right field. Jay Bruce is aboard with 2 outs, and he's 2 for 2.
Made a little too good a pitch with the changeup there.
Yep, Bruce stayed back nice on it and put a good swing on it, but he's hot right now. He's seeing the ball good.
Here's Chris Heisey. One ball, no strikes. Heisey's another man that has some big time pop. 18 homers last year and 279 at bats. He also struck out 78 times. It's a Tonight he laid down a bunt after Bruce doubled to start the second, but Frazier and Mesoraco struck out. The Reds' rally died in the second inning. Up the middle. That's clean single. So back-to-back hits with 2 outs. Here's Frazier. Todd's out of Rutgers. He paid his dues in the minor leagues, guys. 1,969 minor league at bats. Wow.
Some perseverance there.
They've used some other guys too, and on those days where Scott Rowland couldn't go, but he was still on the active list, and among those Willie Harris, former Brave, played a game at third base.
That's sprayed into the seats. Frazier's still alive at 0-2.
Keep in mind, Juan Francisco was kind of the heir apparent third baseman for the Reds, and the Braves got him on waivers in spring training.
Atlanta traded right-hander J.J. Hoover to Cincinnati in that deal.
Yeah, I said waivers. I think he was going to be placed on waivers, so they made a deal to preempt that.
I think Juan was out about minor league options. So now 2 balls, 2 strikes. Bruce and Heisey aboard with 4th inning singles. And Randall now 3-2. Finishing off innings.
Looks like right here he's just in a little bit of a hurry to get this at bat over with. His first 2 strikes, he was nice and under control. He just missed with that 1-2 pitch, and now each pitch after that is like he's trying to throw a little bit harder to get it to his spot.
Ground ball up the middle. Tyler, nobody covered second, and a run is in. Nobody was at the second base bag. Bruce comes home to score, and Cincinnati leads 1-0.
No, there was somebody there. It just happened to be the base runner, and I think that's who Tyler saw. He bends over to pick this up, and there's a body there, but it doesn't have on a white jersey. I'm not sure why Dan stopped unless he realized that the only play was going to be at first.
So fielder's choice, E6 scores Bruce. And Devin Mesoraco and the Reds lead 1-0.
Normally, if on a ground ball like that, if you're the second baseman and you're not going to get to the bag in time for the toss, you're yelling and screaming right away. First. And whether or not Dan was yelling that, I don't know. I didn't hear anything. But Tyler must have been deep by the base runner.
That's Tyler's third error this season. Now McCann out for a chat with Delgado. Got 2 quick outs in the 4th inning. Bruce and Heisey single. Frazier hits a ground ball up the middle. The Reds cash in the first run. Broken bat, and Tyler's got that at shortstop, and that retires the side. The Reds get a run on a couple of hits and a costly error. Homer Bailey leads Delgado 1-0. Is our score entering the home half of the 4th inning. It's time for tonight's Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard.
Best records in the majors. Dodgers and Rangers with 23 wins. Braves and Orioles right behind with 22. Fewest home games in baseball for the Braves at 13. They came in with a record of 8-5 here.
Dodgers, though, might be without Matt Kemp for a couple of days. He hurt his hamstring yesterday. He said he doesn't want to go to the disabled list, not to take an MRI and see how badly he injured himself. And I'm sure you all saw the Rangers game last night. He got home late from St. Louis. That's some kind of offense they're featuring in Texas. Homer Bailey to work with a 1-run lead. Late swing from Ugla. 1-2. Is this guy sneaky?
Well, he threw the slider, the first pitch to him at him. He missed inside, but it kind of got Dan's attention and maybe caused Dan to open up a little too quick on that fastball.
He does have good stuff, though. I mean, he's getting it up there at 93. Got a good hard slider that he throws pretty well off of his fastball. So, I mean, I think the stuff is there. It's just consistency in terms of location and his sequencing.
Well, the Reds have to be thrilled with the velocity for Bailey. He spent some time on the disabled list last year with shoulder problems. And I don't think he's ever made more than 22 starts in a big league season. Tonight's his 7th for Cincinnati.
Well, he's a highly decorated guy out of LaGrange, Texas. I mean, he's been on a lot of all-star teams. He was the number 7 pick in the draft overall when he was picked in the first round in 04. USA Today's High School Player of the Year. And made their organization's minor league player of the year twice.
High fly ball down the left field line. Will it stay fair? It won't. It's in the Reds bullpen. Foul. Still a full count.
Great record in the minor leagues. They just, as Chip said, want him to stay healthy.
Yeah, that last line is the one that gets you.
Let's see what Mesoraco calls for with a 3-2 count.
Shaking him off, shaking him off.
Long at bat for Ugla. This will be the 10th pitch. And Bailey gets him. One away in the 4th. Second Bailey strikeout. Mentioned earlier, the Reds last year won just 79 games last year. Really had problems with their rotation. Injuries certainly played a big part. They tried to upgrade their rotation by adding Matt Latos from San Diego. He's in the Cincinnati staff. Sean Marshall came over from the Cubs to help their bullpen. But they thought they had a closer in Ryan Madsen. And before he even threw a pitch, Madsen blew out his elbow for the Reds.
I know they don't really have an established closer out there now, but even with the loss of Madsen, their bullpen has been phenomenal. And if they can figure out a way to score some runs, keep their staff healthy, and turn the game over to that bullpen late in the game, they'll be in good shape.
And they got 2 other guys on the disabled list. Billy Bray, one of their best lefties out of the pen over the last couple of years, and also Massenet. I think I'm saying his name right. Big right-hander. He's on the DL. Massett, beg your pardon.
Nick Massett.
Nick Massett.
A walk to McCann. He's walked twice in the game. Well, they do have a very big weapon down there, and they have a decision to make about the future of Aroldis Chapman. He's the big Cuban left-hander who can throw the ball 105 miles an hour. Right now, Chapman's working in relief, but may end up in the starting rotation at some point for Cincinnati.
Well, he won't be throwing 105 if he's in the starting rotation, that's for sure.
Chipper got a 3-1 pitch in the second and drove it straightaway center where Stubbs caught it. And he serves this one cleanly into left. There's one of those first pitches that the opposition takes advantage of.
And Chipper notoriously pretty aggressive on the first pitch as well, and doing what we all seen him do so many times, to take that pitch and soft line drive into left field for a base hit. Braves got something cooking.
Second time through the order. Here's Hayward. Jason singled to right in the second. One ball, one strike.
That fastball's certainly good enough. I mean, in terms of stuff, 93.
Well, he likes to pitch in, so he's inside a lot. So you figure with being able to run at 93 in on guys' hands, it'd open up the other side of the plate and be able to use some of his other stuff, which he's shown the ability to do at times here.
Too far inside. 2 balls and a strike. '94 inside corner. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
He likes to finish left-handed hitters off a little bit with that slider down and in at their feet. So after a couple of good hard fastballs in, see if that's where he goes here.
Popped up. Cozart at short on the infield fly. 2 outs.
Went back in there, but it was with the fastball again, and that's having some confidence with your fastball. I think that was 3 or 4 in the at bat that he went in there.
Showed him a backdoor breaking ball that missed badly his first pitch, and then wasn't going to let Jason extend his arms on anything after that.
Tyler bats with 2 outs. Runners first and second. He chops to third, and Frazier's got it and wins the race to the bag, and that retires the side. Bailey's through 4 with a 1-0 lead. Randall Delgado, 1-0, fellas. Sometimes it's not how well you pitch, but when you pitch. Randall hasn't gotten much offensive support of late.
Got shut out in that great start against the Phillies. Got only 1 run to work with while he was in the game at Chicago, even though the Braves did win that game 3-1. He came out when it was 1-1. So a little crooked number in an inning might do a lot for him.
Yeah, and that's one of the things you worry about, particularly with young guys. Is, we showed that stat pregame about his first 2, middle 2, and last 2 starts, and sometimes you can get a false sense either way. And when you had those 2 games that he won in between, he wasn't pitching probably as good as he is right now. But now he hasn't been able to win in his last 2 starts. You start to get those thoughts in your mind that, man, I'm not winning, and you take the focus off how good you're pitching and put it more on the lack of results.
Strike to Bailey, the Reds pitcher, bounced back to the mound in the Cincinnati third. Bounced slowly out to second. Good start to the 5th inning. Win an autographed game-used jersey from your favorite Braves player. Jerseys will be from the June 15th game against the Baltimore Orioles and can be bid on through the Atlanta Braves Foundation online auction May 14th through June 2nd. To place a bid, please visit braves.com/jersey auction.
June 15th, that's a Friday night. Is that a red jersey day or is that a throwback jersey day? The old.
I think Friday is the red, Saturday and Sunday is the cream colored.
Okay.
Throwbacks. Low to Cozart, 2 balls, no strikes. Easy play at third for Chipper, and he'll make it. 2 outs. Here's Stubbs.
Naturally, the argument with anybody that strikes out a lot, but especially in the case of a Drew Stubbs, is that if you just cut your strikeouts by a third and put the ball in play that many more times and much more often with his speed, how many hits does that result in? And ultimately, how many more runs for the team?
What do you think his batting average would be on balls in play? 205 strikeouts and 604 at bats. He had 147 hits last year.
Man.
To first. Freddie's got that. Nice inning for Delgado after he gave up the run. Another 10-pitch inning. Academy Sports and Outdoors, by Georgia Power, and by Nissan. Beautiful baseball night. Great to be back home, but the Reds have scored first and lead the game 1-0 entering the home half of our fifth inning. And it's time for tonight's Jamison in upcoming games.
One more with the Reds here. The only 2 times they're going to be in Atlanta this year, tonight and tomorrow night. Good matchup, Cueto and Hudson. And then a couple of lefties Wednesday night. Mark Burley in his first season with the Marlins against Mike Minor. Ricky Nolasco and Brandon Beachy, 2 guys, both 4-1 already this year. Another good matchup Thursday, getaway day.
Let's see if the Braves can get something going again against Bailey. They left 2 men on in the second inning. Left a couple men on in the fourth. Trail 1-0. Delgado had a hit his first time up. Down the first base line. He tried to stretch that to a double, and Jay Bruce threw him out.
The thing about Randall is that when he's swinging, he's already halfway running.
Yeah, I was kind of looking at that as kind of a Bale and Whale swing there.
Had him backing out of the way of that breaking ball, which missed. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now Bailey goes to 3-2. Michael Bourne in the top of the Braves order, lurking in this inning. Bouncing ball to Cozart at short. And from his shoot tops makes a clean play for the first out. Michael Bourne's flied out to left twice. And Bailey's been a tough guy for Michael. He's 0 for 8 head-to-head. Good time to end that streak. 1 ball, 1 strike. Down the right field line, and Bourne's got an extra base hit. On his way to second. He's going to round the bag and go for 3, and he'll make it without a throw.
One of the reasons your son Mason is going to love this guy, maybe his favorite player, is because when teams do try to pitch him inside, he's still quick in there, and he can turn on the ball, as we saw in that home run he hit in St. Louis. That was a great swing there.
Yeah, sure was. And it's always fun to watch him run. And I wonder if he went to school a little bit on the Jason Hayward at back. It's very similar. He started with a couple of breaking balls away and then tried to go hard in. And like I say, if you're going to go hard in on Michael, you better get it in there. And they didn't, and he turned on it.
So he represents the tying run with 1 out. Martin Prado. Infield coming in for the Reds. Bailey will work out of the windup.
Last year, with a runner at third and less than 2 outs, the Atlanta Braves were last in baseball in RBIs with 147. This year, they're first so far. And as Greg Walker said to me before the game today, he said this is a situation that you got to want to be up there. You got to have a guy up there that wants to be there to drive in the run. However, you get it done.
2 balls and a strike. When you talk about remarkable offensive turnarounds, I can't think of a stat more important than that one, perhaps.
Just in keeping with everything else they're doing in terms of their improvement.
Way outside, ball 3. Braves also have 12 sacrifice flies this year. Remember, this is a club that last year went a month between sacrifice flies.
Yeah, at the same stage last year, they only had 6.
That's in the dirt. Oh, and they say Prado swung. Fletcher, the first base umpire, rings up Prado, and now it's a full count.
Yeah, he did.
He did, and Martin didn't sell it enough. He kind of stood around waiting like, all right.
Well, let's see what Bailey does here. 3-2 count. Batting average against him for the year very high on a 3-2 count, over 400.
High fly ball, shallow right. Bruce coming in. There's the catch. Bourne's going to come. The throw to the plate's off target and missed. Bourne scores, and the game tied at 1.
Jay Bruce has one of the best arms in the National League. He was only about 175 feet away, and Michael Bourne scored anyway. The throw off the mark. Mesoraco didn't come up with it. And Michael Bourne single-handedly stole a run right there.
His 25th run scored this year. Game tied at 1 for Freeman. And a slow roller hit to first. Fair ball. And that retires the side. Michael Bourne's been everywhere for Atlanta this year. And indeed he does steal a run to tie this game heading to the 6th.
Now tied at 1 in the heart of the Reds lineup coming to the plate. But what would this Reds lineup look like with Josh Hamilton in it? That's right, a former Red who came over from the Chicago Cubs after he's chosen in the Rule 5 draft in the American League reigning player of the week. So I ask you, which is the worst Reds trade of all time? Frank Robinson left for 3 others, and he was a Hall of Famer with the Orioles, including the 1966 AL MVP, and won the Triple Crown. Hamilton goes to the Rangers, so far with Texas, 4-time All-Star, 2010 AL MVP, and he currently leads baseball in all Triple Crown categories. Guys, that would be quite a talent to be right in the heart of this Reds lineup.
Thank you, Tom. You're right about that. Josh Hamilton, #1 overall pick years ago by the then Tampa Bay Devil Rays. Myriad off-the-field problems. Was out of baseball for a while, had to come back, made it back. Was eventually a Rule 5 player. The Cubs selected him in a pre-arranged deal to send him to Cincinnati, where he really blossomed and flourished. And now, of course, in Texas, having a remarkable 2011 season, 2012 season, I should say. It's a contract year for Hamilton. And he's been putting on a show virtually every day.
Well, that trade of Frank Robinson, arguably the worst ever. But it remains to be seen if Josh Hamilton goes into the Hall of Fame and does all that people expect him to do, and then we can revisit that.
Inside to Joey Votto, starting off the 6th inning for the Reds. He's walked, he's flied out. New life for Delgado. 1-1 game.
Be careful here.
Leadoff walk. As hot as he is, Delgado didn't want to play with fire and didn't. It wasn't the Frank Robinson deal. Didn't they say he was washed up? At the time, the Reds management said, well, we think Frank's on the downside of his career, and off he went.
I'm not sure what year that said the trade was, but I know that the Reds had played in the World Series in '61 against the Yankees, and if it was a couple of years after that, I'm sure they felt like he was on the downside.
Brandon Phillips, the batter. He's 0 for 2. Tom, we on target with that?
Yeah, you're right on target. Bill DeWitt was a general manager at the time, and his quote was, Frank Robinson was 30 at the time he was traded. He said, well, he's not a young 30. Frank obviously used that as motivation when he went on to win the Triple Crown. He said, well, I wasn't an old 30 either, and he obviously flourished in Baltimore. And by the way, he's in the Hall of Fame. Josh Hamilton's bat from last week, we hit 8 of his last 9 home runs. That has made it to Cooperstown, but only after he cracked it in his first at bat the other night.
Yeah, I bet he wasn't. I bet he wasn't in a hurry to give that up.
Thank you, Tom. No balls, 2 strikes to Phillips. Missed the corner. Now 1-2. Delgado lets that ball travel to Uggla, and it turns into a double play. He was thinking, wasn't he, Tommy?
He was, and I'm glad he pulled up. You see that happen every now and then, and a lot of times it'll deflect off the pitcher's glove, but he coming off the dirt like that, you know you're kind of getting to that range where you're stretching yourself a little bit, and he thought better of it, and I'm glad he did. It was a routine ground ball double play.
Yeah, smart play.
Now let's see if he can finish off the inning with Jay Bruce, who's 2 for 2 and has scored the lone Reds run.
One of the things that you got to like about Randall Delgado is the apparent joy that he has in pitching. He likes being out there. He wants the ball back. He works quickly, sometimes too quickly.
Yeah, you like guys out there that look like they want to be out there, and he certainly does fit that mold.
Now it's 3-0.
Including the run tonight, 13 of the 18 runs he's allowed this year have come after 2 out.
In the air to left. Toronto gives ground. He turns and he hangs on. How in the world did he catch that? Take a look at tonight's Toyota play of the game.
Martin got a little bit turned around, but part of it was because the ball was hit so hard and was slicing. So he got to the point where he thought the ball was going to come down, but then it was moving back toward the foul line, so he had to make another adjustment and then began to sink on him. So a really good play on a tough one.
So after that great catch, here's our Blippy game summary. Bottom of the 6th inning, middle of the Braves order coming up for a 3rd time against Homer Bailey.
Martin 1 for 2. He drove in the run with that 170-foot sacrifice fly last inning, thanks to the good work by Michael Bourne, who had tripled in front of him.
Dan jumps at the first pitch and skies it in straightaway center. Dan's 0 for 3. Here's Brian McCann, who's walked twice. Give Bailey some credit. Like Delgado, pitching very well tonight. Much better performance than his last outing. As Joe mentioned, 6 runs in 3 2/3 innings against Milwaukee. That's where the Reds really hope to improve. 6 earned runs for Bailey. They had rotation problems last year. Tonight, Bailey's locked in a 1-1 game. Now with 2 outs. And here's Chipper. Bailey wanted that pitch, didn't get it. 1 ball, no strikes.
Those are really good signs. I mean, you got to hand it to those ladies. They had glitter on them. It wasn't just magic marker on some poster board.
Put some thought into it.
Yeah. Then the girl on the right said, "Hey, throw some of that glitter on my blouse."
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Discussion there between the trainer and manager always cause for concern depending on who it's about. Jeff was talking to Freddie Freeman a minute ago, and it looks like there might be some contact issues for first baseman.
Chipper Jones takes strike 3, and Bailey works a 1-2-3 bottom of the 6th inning.
Freddie Freeman in the dugout was still kind of wrestling with whatever vision issues were on him. He was still kind of squinting and closing one eye, seeing if he could see better with one. Maybe his contact's blurry, or maybe it's missing. I'm not sure what it is, but he's back out there and he's still toying with it a little bit.
Trivia time again. The AT&T U-verse trivia question. Name the last Red to lead the National League in RBIs for a single season.
I'm torn between 2 guys from 2 different eras, Ken Griffey Jr. and George Foster.
Not bad.
I'm going to go Foster.
I'm going to go Eric Davis.
Good one.
That's a real good call. I mentioned Barry Larkin going into the Hall of Fame. Maybe he led the National League in RBIs. Driven down the left field line. That's a fair ball off the bat of Heisey. And Heisey starts the 7th with an extra base hit. So let's see if any of us got it right.
Oh, I had him in mind too, but I thought had to be somebody between him and when he was around and now.
The Cobra. Speaking of guys with good arms.
Yeah. That was the first guy I thought of too. I should have gone with my instincts.
Well, you were a lot of help.
Yep.
Yeah.
Had 9 days to practice too.
Well, at least I didn't cheat. I could have Googled it or something, you know.
Here's Frazier, and he takes the ball inside. Mentioned Frazier played ball at Rutgers. He also played on a Little League World Series championship team from Toms River, New Jersey.
Did he?
Popped back our way, foul.
Well, he's come up in some key spots tonight. Came up with runner at third and 1 out in the 2nd inning and struck out. Came up with runners at first and second in the 4th inning and hit a ground ball, and it was with 2 outs. Looked like it was going to end the inning, but nobody was covering at second. Pasternak tossed it away and a run scored.
Pitch number 100's popped up on the infield. Pasternak is under it. There's the first out.
And now he can't get the runner over.
Well, the Reds have not been that great of an offensive club. Mentioned that at the start of the broadcast too. What'd you say, Joe? 9 runs in 4 games, and then 9 runs yesterday.
Yeah. Yep. Big breakout thanks to Votto's big day.
So Mesoraco will take a chance. He's 0 for 2 tonight. And that's bounced past the Reds dugout. Mesoraco out of Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. A position player who's come back from Tommy John surgery. He had that in 2006. One ball, one strike.
I know they've been talking about this guy for a couple of years, anticipating his arrival. He's come back strong from that arm surgery too. Chip has a good arm.
Two balls and a strike. The pitcher, Homer Bailey, is due next. Now 2-2. That's Logan Undersek.
Mesoraco's done Delgado a favor here this at bat. He's chased 2 pitches that were in off the plate, one a breaking ball, and he pulled them both foul. That close-up shot we just gave you as Brian McCann was about to give the signs. If you look at Brian's eyes, he'll be looking at Mesoraco to make sure that when he's putting the sign down, he's not taking a peek back. And of course, he didn't do it this time, but boy, he sure was earlier.
For the first 110 pitches of the game, he did it.
Yeah.
And now Mesoraco walks. Reds have runners first and third. I beg your pardon, first and second. At 106 pitches for Delgado. And now McCann, Pasternak, and Chipper Jones will talk strategy.
Icy runs okay. He's not a blazer at second base, but he's got decent speed. So if Bailey is bunting here, no guarantees that he is, but if he is, they might be able to get that lead runner. Mesoraco, catcher, running at first.
I would venture to say he's bunting, and they know whether or not he's a good bunter, and if he's not, they're going to, I would say most likely, put on the aggressive play and try to get the lead runner.
There's the bunt. Delgado pounces, fires, and they get the lead runner. Good call, Tommy. 2 out.
He doesn't have a sack all year.
And that was not where you want to bunt that ball right there.
That almost looked like it was supposed to be a pickoff, though. Look where the shortstop is. Home Depot tools from the dugout. Good bunt defense, executed perfectly. Usually the shortstop's somewhere over close to the bag, and Pasternak almost, it's like the Braves set it up to deke him that way. Good job.
And what a way to finish a night's work with a terrific defensive play for Delgado. Standing ovation as he leaves tied with 2 outs in the Cincinnati 7th. For 6 2/3 innings, the run he's allowed is an unearned run. But guys, he leaves this game in the hands of his bullpen. The Reds have 2 on with 2 out.
Again, look how the spacing is with Pasternak well toward third base, and then the Braves just start sprinting Pasternak and Ugla to cover. And it's almost like, I mean, you're trying to bunt the ball hard to third base anyway if you're the pitcher, but it's almost like they lured him into thinking that something else was on.
Yeah, it's a little bit different look than what you're normally used to seeing. You usually see that shortstop break into the bag at third base and everybody charging. You're trying to make the play before with the shortstop beating the runner to third.
So Randall gives way to Chad Durbin, who answers the AT&T call to the bullpen. Durbin has Zach Cozart, the young shortstop. Cozart 0 for 3 in the game.
Durbin came in yesterday and got 1 out in a crucial inning. Cardinals already had a home run from Beltran and had a couple of guys on, and got Freeze to fly out before O'Flaherty came in to finish up the inning.
High fly ball left center, but Michael says he's got it. He does. Durbin gets Cozart. And the Reds again get a leadoff double, but cannot plate a run against Delgado. Tie game at the stretch. Jameson Inn, by the Georgia Lottery, and by McDonald's. 1-1 game heading to the bottom of the 7th inning. All season long, Braves baseball on Sports South is being presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors, the right stuff, and the low price. With Joe Simpson, Tom Glavine, Tom Hart, Chip Carey at the ballpark. 1-1 is the score. As both pitchers, Randall Delgado and Homer Bailey, giving the hitters some eye trouble tonight. Not much offense, just 9 hits combined.
There's nothing more aggravating if you wear contacts than having one that's on the fritz, moving around on you, or maybe has a smudge on it. I'm sure he's already taken it out once or twice to put it back in, but it's not sitting where it should be, I guess.
So Bailey back to work in the Atlanta 7th for Jason Hayward. Jason's 1 for 2 in the game. And Homer missed badly outside. 1 ball, no strikes.
It's exactly the same pitch he threw him last time when he was really trying to run the ball in on him.
And Bailey's 6 previous starts, he's worked 7 innings only once. So Dusty Baker in his bullpen probably on alert. That missed inside, ball 2. 2 balls and a strike.
One of the patterns that Freddie Gonzalez has had using Chad Durbin is a lot of times when he only needs to get 1 or 2 outs, bring him in when the pitcher spot is due up. In this case, 3rd the next inning.
Kinski's getting ready. Nice to take the lead against Bailey and not have to worry about facing this Reds bullpen trailing in the game. Their bullpen has the lowest ERA in the league. And Jason had a good cut.
Bailey still throwing hard. Got some strong bubble gum on the wrap of that bat.
Squibb toward Cozart. Funny spin, but he made a good play, and almost off the bag was Votto at first, but he recovered for out number 1.
This guy looks pretty slick.
Made that play like a seasoned veteran. Yeah, Joey forgot to step on the bag there.
Tyler has bounced out to 3rd twice. Bailey's thrown 106 pitches. Has 1 out in the home 7th. Liner into the seats past the Braves dugout. Everybody's all right, it appears. Little dribbler. Bailey. All he can do is swing his arm in frustration. Pasternicki, an infield hit.
How many times have we seen Tyler do that? 4, 5, 6 times. Usually a breaking ball that he tops right into the ground.
Well, he's got good speed. That's why he put the ball in play. You never know what's going to happen, and that's kind of no man's land right there. That's a do or die play for Bailey, and once he bobbles it, no chance. I'm not sure where that chance if he fielded it cleanly anyway.
That's Tyler's 4th infield hit of the year. And Brian Price out to talk to Bailey as Eric Hinske's announced as the Atlanta pinch hitter for Chad Durbin.
Logan Andrusik still forming up in their bullpen. Johnny Venners for the Braves.
Eric's faced Bailey twice, both those at bats last year. He's 0 for 2. Those are his numbers overall this season.
He had one of those at bats in Chicago where he was just robbed. Remember against Samardzija, he hit a rocket at first that ended an inning. Actually turned into a double play, didn't it?
One ball, no strikes. And that was in the 7th inning of the game. Samardzija won 5-1. And at that time in the game, it was a 2-1 Cub lead. And downstairs, ball 2.
Well, you can run on this guy. He gives up a lot of stolen bases, Homer Bailey. And despite the fact that Rocco has a good arm, he's 0 for 10 on base stealers this year. And that's not all his fault.
And 0 to Hinsky with Michael Bourne on deck. Grounded toward Votto at first. He'll go to second. Stretch there. Throw to first is not in time. Was the ball dropped?
I think he was bobbling it a little bit, Chip. I'm not certain, but I think he didn't have complete control of it. He beat it anyway.
Yeah, no bobble. Just a shade too slow to retire Eric Hinsky. But that's the last pitch of the game thrown by Homer Bailey. He goes 6 2/3, leaves tied 1-1 with Michael Bourne coming to the plate with 2 outs in this Braves 7th. He leaves tied 1-1 as the Braves continue to bat in inning number 7. Here's our McDonald's fan of the game. Youngster hoping that Michael Bourne can put a charge into a ball against rail thin right-hander Logan Ondrusek. 6'8", 230-pounder out of Shiner, Texas.
Check out his ERA. 14 2/3 innings. Has not allowed an earned run. And just a 143 average against him. Last year 5-5 out of the bullpen for the Reds in 66 games. Spent a little time on the DL last year with a strained right forearm, but man, is he part of a lights out bullpen right now.
Michael Bourne tripled in the 5th and scored on a sac fly. And an awkward swing. Fellas, here we find ourselves in the Cincinnati bullpen, and those are the numbers we were talking about earlier tonight.
First in ERA, opponent average against, strikeouts, on base percentage, second. That's what I say. We've been saying all night long, it's important to get the lead so you don't have to try and do anything against those guys.
And 3 people they were counting on to be in their bullpen on the disabled list. So a lot of guys have been picking up the slack.
Two balls and a strike. Three balls and a strike. Strike. Now Votto getting signals from the Reds dugout. Will not play behind Hinske. He'll actually hold him. Eric should be moving with a full count and 2 outs. There he goes. And Bourne drives one to center. Stubbs, though, will catch it. And that retires the side. We head to the 8th inning. Stubbs, Votto, and Phillips coming up for the Reds. Our game still tied at 1. Runner at first base. He's going to stay in the game and play first base now. Apparently the eye problems for Freddie Freeman will knock him out of this ball game. Also checking in defensively for the Braves will be Jack Wilson. Wilson will hit in the number 3 spot. Hinsky's hitting 9th. And Johnny Vetters answers the AT&T call to the bullpen. He'll be in the number 8 spot as we head to the 8th inning tonight.
For Johnny Vetters, he comes into the homestand after having worked in 3 games on the road trip. Gave up 1 run in 2 1/3 innings. Worked yesterday just 1/3 of an inning, recorded a strikeout. 21 strikeouts in 12 innings, not bad.
2, 3, and 4 up for the Reds. Starts with Stubbs, who's 0 for 3 tonight. Johnny misses with 3 in a row.
Last year in the balls that Stubbs put in play, he hit .368.
This one down the third base line. Vetters bobbles. And Stubbs is aboard to start the inning.
Somebody might want to send that to him.
Yeah, last year in 2010 he hit .379 when he hit the ball, put the ball in play.
Similar play of their last inning with Pasternicki. It's no man's land right there for a left-handed pitcher, especially, and with Stubbs being able to run the way that he does, Johnny had no chance on that.
Stubbs is 6 for 7 in stolen base tries. Now a lefty-lefty matchup with Votto, who's walked twice. And he's buzzed inside. 1 ball, no strikes.
That run that came from the home run by Votto, the only run that Vetters has given up to the Reds in his career pitching against them in 8 games. Make it 6 games, 8 2/3 innings.
That had some snap. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Look at Votto choke up on the bat with 2 strikes. And that one gets through McCann. And Stubbs at second now with nobody out. That scored a wild pitch.
Like Brian tried to come out and get that and kind of smother it before it became too tough a pitch to block.
This guy's a tough guy to strike out.
I was trying to look like he was coming up a little bit, anticipating that pitch to bounce higher. It was a slider, but it didn't come up.
Did he go? No. Full count.
Nope.
Little pop into left. And that's playable for Martin. Votto can't advance Stubbs, who stands at second with one out. Fans, B.O.B. will perform a free post-game show Saturday, June 16th, presented by Coca-Cola and Delta. Watch the Braves take on the Orioles and stay for the free concert as B.O.B. performs hits from his newly released album. Visit Braves.com/concerts for tickets today. Here's Phillips. He's 0 for 3. Has not gotten the ball out of the infield tonight. And came in maybe the Reds' hottest hitter, was 6 for 12 before tonight's series opener.
See, that's the slider that was so effective for Johnny last year, the year before. The one that's right in on their shoe tops, where they do swing over the top of it. In recent days, the one that has been bouncing prematurely, he's been too low with it. His command of it a little too short of the plate. They're not offering.
No swing. Did he go?
Well,
I'm going to say
if
no.
it was the Braves, I'd say no.
Yeah.
With the Reds, I want it. But probably not. Probably the right call.
Fly ball left center. Michael Bourne's not going to get this one. It's off the top of the fence. Stubbs around third. The throw to the plate will be late. And Brandon Phillips has put Cincinnati in front by a 2-1 score.
Tried to go back to that slider you talked about and left it over the plate just a little bit. And Brandon Phillips is a good low ball hitter and put a charge into that one.
Phillips' 12th RBI. Here's Bruce.
First hit tonight for the Reds with a runner in scoring position. They were 0 for 8 prior.
And that was Phillips' first ever hit against Johnny Venters.
Just barely stayed in the park.
One ball, 2 strikes. Looking ahead to the Braves' 8th, Prado, Wilson, and Ugler. Remember, Freddie Freeman left the game with some sort of an eye problem. Our guess is contacts. Won't know for sure till afterward.
That swinging bunt hit got it all going. And then the wild pitch certainly played a part.
horse spoils another. Right side, Eric Hinske. He'll win the race to the bag. Phillips to third with 2 outs. Good night for Chris Heisey. Was 1 for 11 with 6 strikeouts before the start of play tonight. He has a sacrifice bunt, a single, and a double.
I don't know what his career numbers are against the Braves, but it always seems like he plays well, hits well against Atlanta. Aroldis Chapman beginning to loosen up for the Reds.
Lined into left center field. Heisey's 3 for 3. Phillips scores. That ball rolls to the edge of the wall. Heisey will stop at second. A 2-run 8th for the Reds.
First pitch fastball, trying to get ahead, and Heisey was ready for it, put a good swing on it, found a gap. As Chip mentioned, adding to an already good night with another double and an RBI there.
Now 8 for 18 against Atlanta pitching.
Here's Todd Frazier. And going back to the 1st of May, this is the 3rd outing for Vetters this month where he's been scored upon. Gave up 2 runs May 1st against the Pirates. Gave up a run against the Cardinals May 11th. The Reds have touched him for 2 in this 8th inning. Just got word from media relations. Blurred vision in the right eye of Freddie Freeman tonight. He'll be reevaluated at game's end. And Vetters takes care of Frazier. Cincinnati scores twice. They do that on 3 hits. And they take a 3-1 lead into the bottom of the 8th. Live presented by AT&T. We'll hear from Freddie Gonzalez at the conclusion of Game 1 of this brief series with the Reds. We'll hear from the locker room and have tonight's highlights. Right now, the highlights belong in the Reds column. A big 8th inning off Johnny Vetters, who scored a couple of runs on 3 hits. And now Logan Andrusek is still out for the Reds. He'll face Prado, Jack Wilson, and Dan Uggla. Wilson Valdez, the glove man, takes over for Frazier at third base. Martins knocked in the lone Braves run. A sacrifice fly to very shallow left. That tied the game at 1. Oh, and 2. A 2-strike single to right. How sweet is that?
Like something up too that he had to tomahawk. He threw some top hand on this swing. Yeah, shoulder high.
Right, he's as good as anybody right now hitting that high pitch.
Yep.
Jack Wilson bats for the first time. He pushes a bunt toward first. The throw goes to second, and that's all Cincinnati gets. How about that play?
Man. Big time play there by Joey Votto. Anticipating this beautifully, and then look how quick he got on it and got rid of it with his back to second base. What a play.
Well, I'll tell you, when that ball was bunted, I saw him coming. I thought it was a base hit because I didn't even think for a second they were going to get a play at second. But you're right. He spun and got rid of that thing in a hurry and made a great throw.
Don't forget, he won a Gold Glove last year, too, for the Reds. And showed it off there. What a play. Here's Uggla. Strike 1. That was a Jeff Bagwell-like play. Remember in Houston how he would thwart bunt attempts? That one pops away from Mesoraco, and that helps. Wilson to second.
This looked like a tough one. Downer. He went down to block it, but the way it skipped off the ground to his left a little bit came off the heel of his glove.
Yeah, you could do everything right, but as soon as it hits that heel of your glove, there's no telling where it's going.
A lot of breaking balls here today, and it'd be nice to see one from Andrusek that kind of hangs out over the plate a little bit. Great work for Dan late in the ball game in clutch situations.
Andrusek hasn't given up a run. He's due. 2 balls and a strike, and he steps off. Ryan McCann, Chipper Jones, Jason Hayward to follow Dan Uggla. Aroldis Chapman has been warming in the Cincinnati bullpen.
And you figure this is his last hitter. Andrusek. See if he gives Dan anything to hit here.
He didn't. tying runners are on in the Atlanta 8th. Dusty Baker's on the top step. Now he's on his way to the mound. And he's going to make the call to his bullpen. Andrusik goes 2/3 of an inning. And Aroldis Chapman, the left-handed flamethrowers, out of the Reds' pen. The hitters have to tune it up quite a bit. Aroldis Chapman, the 6'4", 200-pound left-hander, can hit triple digits with his fastball.
And he's been even better than those numbers would indicate lately. He has set down 17 of the last 18 hitters he's faced with 11 strikeouts. And the only interruption in that 17 out of 18 was an infield hit. So he's been on his game.
And the first man he'll face is Braves catcher Brian McCann.
2 games last year against Atlanta, 3 innings of work, no hits allowed to the Braves, and 3 strikeouts. And on top of that, he didn't walk anybody either.
You want a challenge? You've got one now. Two balls, no strikes.
It's a good idea. Throw him off his rhythm a little bit, see if that helps.
Fly ball hammered to right. Bruce going back will have room at the edge of the track. Wilson tags from second and makes it to third. McCann just missed.
Oh, I thought he got it. It sounded right.
Sounded real good.
Brian knew it. That he got it just a little bit too high. If he pulls it a little more, he's in business.
Two outs, and here's Chipper.
It may not be the tying run, but that's a big run at third base. If that's the only one you get this inning, It's a lot better to go into the bottom of the ninth down by 1 than by 2.
This is the kind of matchup that makes you love baseball. Aroldis Chapman and Chipper Jones.
Chapman 24 years old. Chipper not 24.
Well, let's see if he can be 24 for a minute here.
Yeah. You know he can catch up to it.
Chapman defected from Cuba in July of 2009 before a baseball tournament in the Netherlands. The Reds really shocked all of baseball when they signed this man. Many thought it was going to be the Red Sox or the Yankees. Instead, it was Cincinnati that swooped in and signed him to a 6-year contract. Broke in with the Reds in 2010. Pitched in 54 games last year. A little stumble as he delivered that pitch low.
Chipper's come up with some big hits already in the first 6 weeks of the season. He's been having a lot of fun. Maybe surprising a lot of people with his success, and especially long balls at key times. How about one more? The good thing is he's seen 4 pitches, all fastballs, and a good chance to time one of them.
Three balls and a strike. The bases are loaded with 2 outs. Now Jason Hayward's turn at center stage.
Jason at .222 against left-handers. 2 of his 5 homers have been against left-handers.
I kind of like this matchup. I don't know why, but there's something about it I like.
Especially if it's something low.
At the belt inside corner, strike 1. I didn't mean to, but it's fouled at the plate, and now Jason has some work to do. It's 0-2.
Nothing fancy really. Rocco is just setting up right in the middle of the plate and just telling this guy, just cut it loose.
Let it go and see where it goes.
High and tight.
It's a lot higher and a lot tighter when it's 101.
slider ends the inning. Atlanta loads the bases in the 8th, but can't break through. We go to the 9th, 3-1 game. And another AT&T call to the bullpen. This one answered by veteran right-hander Livan Hernandez. 2 pitchers from Cuba in this game. Can't think of 2 men with more different styles.
No question about that. Livan did good work too on the road trip. 2 games, but he pitched 3 2/3 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 4 walks, and 3 strikeouts. But how about the job he did in St. Louis the other night, pitching out of 2 bases loaded jams?
Yeah, he got David Freese to hit into a double play in the 10th and just walked off the field like, well, another day at the office.
Go home, no big deal. Been there a few times before.
So his job, hold the Reds right here as Devin Mesoranko looks at a called strike. Popped up. Shallow center, Michael Bourne. 1 away in the Reds' 9th. In Atlanta's 9th inning, the pitcher spot is due first, then Eric Hinsky, then Michael Bourne. And now Mike Costanza is going to pinch hit. This guy's a great story. First time in the big leagues at age 28. Costanza was originally a Phillies draft choice, was traded 2 times in 1 winter. Phillies traded him to Houston with Michael Bourne in the Brad Lidge deal. Then Houston traded him to Baltimore for Miguel Tejada. And after floundering around in Baltimore's system for a while, they asked him to become a pitcher. Costanzo said nope, went to the independent leagues. The Reds picked him up, and here he is playing for Dusty Baker's Cincinnati Ball Club.
Nothing else. He got traded for some big names.
And he has a seat after 3 pitches. Livan strikes him out. 2 away in the 9th.
Braves signed a guy a couple of days ago out of one of the independent leagues. Former big league outfielder Felix Piet, former Cub and former Oriole, an outfielder. He's at Gwinnett now.
Base is clear for Zach Cozart. Cozart 0 for 4.
First time I've seen Kozar play a full game at shortstop, and while he hasn't done anything at the plate tonight, he's been smooth at short. He's just kind of glides to the ball and appears to have a good arm.
And this one popped up. McCann and Hinsky. It'll be Hinsky at the Braves on deck circle. He'll make the basket catch. Good work for Livan Hernandez. Braves have 3 outs left, down 3-1. Dusty Baker will go to his closer, Sean Marshall. Another Reds left-hander will follow Aroldis Chapman in the Atlanta ninth.
Came over in a deal during the winter for Travis Wood and Dave Sappelt, an outfielder and also a minor league infielder. He was supposed to be a setup guy, but after the injury to Ryan Madsen, Sean Marshall was appointed the closer role by Dusty Baker. 5 for 6 so far in that category. He's got a big hook.
First Brave to greet him will be Matt Diaz. Diaz, Hinsky, and Bourne to start. Diaz pops up a bunt, and that'll bounce foul. Strike one.
Down 2, you need a base runner to have a chance to have to bring the tying run to the plate. Not just figuring that any way he can get on is a good thing.
Up the middle. Diaz was 1 for 11 against Marshall until that leadoff single, and indeed the tying run's coming to the plate.
Watch Marshall after this breaking ball's hit back by him. He kicks the dirt, upset that he didn't field his position a little better.
And make a better pitch, but either one.
Here's Hinsky. He hit into a forced play in the 7th. And he pops one up shallow center. Stubbs coming on, and he's got it for the first out. Michael Bourne 1 for 4 tonight. A fifth inning triple and scored on a sac fly.
But again, going back to last inning, talking about that run that was important, even if it was only one run in the inning. You get the leadoff man here in the ninth. It's a different situation. In terms of how you manufacture a run to try and tie versus trying to get two.
Swing, foul back, 1-1. No swing, says Joe West. 2 balls and a strike. That was nasty.
Front elbow breaking ball. Got Michael to freeze for a second. That's all he needed.
Another breaking ball. 2 outs.
Sean Marshall started his career primarily as a starter in the Cubs organization and struggled. But for the last 2 years, 2010, 2011, back-to-back years of ERAs of 2.65 and 2.26, working strictly out of the pen. I think he's found his niche.
Yeah, he certainly has. A couple of nasty breaking balls right there to Michael.
2-hit night for Prado. Can he come up with a third to keep the Braves alive in the ninth? Straight breaking balls for strikes.
And his fastball's good enough that you have to respect that if you get behind in the count. It's low 90s, sometimes 92.
Now it's 0-2. Rocco wants to talk it over. If Braves can somehow, some way get this inning to Jack Wilson or Dan Uggla, those two men have had good success against Marshall.
Remember last time up, Prado hit an 0-2 pitch that was up high, hit it to right field. That may have been something that the catcher was relaying to him. Let's see if they try to backdoor a breaking ball instead. Ball. His fastball is just too good to guess anything other than that right now. You've got to look fastball behind in the count and then adjust to the breaking ball. Martin's so good at inside out.
And that's your ball game. The Cincinnati Reds bullpen was as good as advertised tonight. And they preserve a 3-1 victory for Dusty Baker and the Reds. Game 1 of the series goes Cincinnati's way. 3 runs, 7 hits, no errors for the Reds. 1 run, 8 hits, 1 error for Atlanta. Coming up next, it's Braves Live presented by AT&T. We'll have all the post-game sound and all of tonight's highlights. For Joe Simpson, Tom Glavine, Tom Hart, I'm Chip Carey. Stay tuned for Braves Live.